My name is Karen, and I'm 28 years old. I work as a marketing coordinator at a mid-sized company downtown, and honestly, it's been pretty demanding lately. I live alone in a small apartment about 20 minutes from my parents' house. My family consists of my mom Linda, my dad Robert, and my older sister Julia. Julia is 31 and works in finance. Our family has always been close, or at least I thought we were. We usually get together for holidays and birthdays, and my parents always make sure to include both Julia and me in family plans. That's why when my mom suggested a family vacation back in January, I was really excited about it. Karen, what do you think about all four of us taking a trip together this summer? My mom had asked during one of our Sunday family dinners. We could go somewhere nice, maybe a beach resort or something. That sounds amazing, Mom, I replied. I haven't taken a real vacation in over a year. Julia immediately perked up. Oh my God, yes. I need a break so badly. Work has been killing me lately. My dad nodded approvingly. I think it's a great idea. We should start planning soon so we can get good deals on flights and hotels. Over the next few weeks, we spent hours researching destinations, comparing prices, and coordinating our schedules. We finally settled on a beautiful resort in Florida. The plan was to book 2 rooms, one for my parents and another for Julia and me to share. We calculated that the total cost would be around $8,000 for the 4 of us, so we each agreed to contribute $2,000. I was so excited about this trip that I started planning everything months in advance. I even rearranged my vacation days at work to match Julia's schedule, which meant I had to push back some important projects and work extra hours to get everything done before our departure date. For the past 6 months, I've been working my ass off, sometimes even 7 days a week, to make sure all my projects would be completed on time. I wanted to go on this vacation with a clear conscience, knowing that I wouldn't have to worry about work stuff while I was supposed to be relaxing with my family. Julia and I would text each other almost daily about our vacation plans. She'd send me links to cute beachwear she wanted to buy, and I'd research the best restaurants near our hotel. I can't wait to just lie on the beach and do absolutely nothing, Julia texted me one evening. Same here, I replied. I feel like I haven't relaxed in forever. My parents seemed just as excited as we were. My mom kept talking about how she wanted to try parasailing, and my dad was looking forward to playing golf at the resort's course. Everything was going perfectly until last week. I was at work, finishing up a report, when my phone rang. It was my mom. Hi, honey, she said, but her tone sounded different somehow. I need to talk to you about our trip. What about it? Is everything okay with the bookings? I asked, suddenly feeling nervous. Well, Karen, I'm afraid we're going to have to cancel, she said slowly. I felt my stomach drop. What do you mean cancel? I've been having some health issues lately, and the doctor thinks it would be better if I don't travel right now, my mom explained. And Julia is having some serious problems at work that she needs to deal with. I sat there in stunned silence for a moment. Mom, what kind of health issues? Are you okay? Oh, it's nothing too serious, sweetie. Just some minor stuff that needs attention. And don't worry about the money, we'll refund your $2,000. We'll definitely plan another trip next year when everything settles down. I wanted to argue, to ask more questions, but something in my mom's voice told me the decision was final. Okay, Mom, I understand. I hope you feel better soon. After I hung up, I just sat there staring at my computer screen. 6 months of preparation, 6 months of working overtime, 6 months of looking forward to this trip, all for nothing. I felt disappointed and frustrated, but I tried to tell myself that family comes first. If my mom was having health issues and Julia was dealing with work problems, then canceling the trip was the right thing to do. That night, I went home and looked at all the vacation clothes I had bought, still with tags on them. I had even bought a new suitcase specifically for this trip. Now it all seemed like a waste of money and energy. The next few days at work were difficult. My colleagues kept asking about my upcoming vacation, and I had to explain that our plans had changed. I felt embarrassed and disappointed every time I had to tell someone that the trip was cancelled. When my actual vacation days arrived, I found myself with nothing to do. I had specifically requested this time off, and now I was stuck at home with no plans. I spent the first few days just lying on my couch, watching Netflix, and reading books I had been meaning to get to. But after a while, I started feeling restless and bored. By the end of the first week of my vacation, I was going stir-crazy. I needed something to do, something to distract me from feeling sorry for myself. That's when I decided to check social media, something I rarely do since I don't even have official accounts on any platforms. The thing is, I don't really use social media like most people do. I never created official accounts with my real name because I just never saw the point. Julia always made fun of me for this, saying that even kids have their own social media profiles these days. But I've always been more private, and I didn't want my personal life out there for everyone to see. However, back in high school, I did create one account under a fake name. I called myself Sarah Mitchell and used some random girl's photo I found online. I only made this account because I was curious about what my classmates were posting, but I never really used it to interact with anyone. Over the years, I would log in maybe once every few months just to see what my family members were up to, especially when they posted photos from parties or trips. My parents and Julia knew I didn't have any official social media accounts, so they never expected me to see anything they posted online. They probably thought I was completely disconnected from that world, which I guess I mostly was. So I grabbed my laptop and decided to log into my fake Instagram account for the first time in probably 3 months. I figured I might as well see what everyone in my family had been up to lately. The first thing I did was search for Julia's profile. I knew she was always posting photos, especially when she was dating someone new. She had been seeing this new guy for about a month now, and I was curious to see what he looked like. Julia always liked showing off her boyfriends on social media, posting couple photos and making a big deal about her relationships. When I opened her profile, the first thing I saw made my blood run cold. Her most recent post was from yesterday, and it was a photo of her and some guy I didn't recognize, both of them smiling and clearly on a beach somewhere. They were both tan and wearing swimwear, and there was a beautiful ocean in the background. "What the hell?" I said out loud to my empty apartment. At first, I thought maybe she had gone on a weekend trip with her new boyfriend. That would be typical Julia behavior, spontaneous and impulsive. But then I started scrolling through more of her recent photos, and I saw something that made my stomach drop. There were photos of my parents. My mom and dad, both looking happy and relaxed, also clearly at some kind of beach resort. The photos were dated from just a couple of days ago. My mom was wearing a new sundress I had never seen before, and my dad had on vacation clothes and sunglasses. I sat there staring at my laptop screen, trying to process what I was seeing. Then I started comparing the backgrounds in Julia's photos with my parents' photos. The beach looked exactly the same. The hotel in the background looked exactly the same. Even the pool area visible in some of the shots looked identical. My hands were actually shaking as I started doing the math in my head. I knew the exact dates when we were supposed to go on our family trip. I knew the name of the resort we had booked in Florida. And these photos were taken during those exact same dates, at what looked like the exact same location. "No way," I whispered, but even as I said it, I knew it was true. I spent the next hour going through every single photo on Julia's Instagram, my mom's Facebook, and even my dad's rarely used Facebook account. The evidence was overwhelming. They had gone on our family vacation without me. They had taken Julia's new boyfriend instead. The worst part was seeing how happy they all looked. There were photos of them at dinner together, photos of them by the pool, photos of them on the beach. My parents were laughing and smiling with this guy I had never even met. Julia was posting captions like "best vacation ever with my favorite people," and "so grateful for family time." I felt physically sick. I actually ran to the bathroom because I thought I was going to throw up. When I came back to my laptop, I stared at the photos again, hoping I had somehow misunderstood what I was seeing. But there was no denying it. My family had lied to me. They had made up stories about my mom's health problems and Julia's work issues, and then they had gone on our planned vacation with Julia's boyfriend of 1 month. They had used my money to pay for this stranger to join them on what was supposed to be our family trip. But I'm not the type of person to make assumptions, even when the evidence seems clear. I needed to be absolutely sure before I confronted them. So I decided to test them. I picked up my phone and sent a text message to my mom. "Hi Mom, how are you feeling? I was thinking of coming over to visit you today if you're up for it. Do you need me to pick up any medications or groceries for you?" Then I waited and waited. For 30 minutes, there was no response. I kept checking my phone every few minutes, but nothing. Finally, my mom texted back, "Hi sweetie, thanks for checking on me, but you don't need to visit today. The doctor said I should rest as much as possible. My immune system is really weak right now, and I wouldn't want you to accidentally give me a cold or anything. I'm doing okay though, don't worry about me." I read that message 3 times. Here was my mom, supposedly at home recovering from health issues, texting me from what I now knew was a beach resort in Florida. The level of deception was unbelievable. But I wasn't done testing them yet. I sent a text to Julia, "Hey sis, I know our vacation got cancelled, but I was thinking maybe you and I could do something together this weekend. We could take a little road trip or something, just the two of us. I'm going crazy sitting at home with nothing to do." Julia's response came much faster than my mom's. "Sorry Karen, I can't this weekend. Work has been absolutely insane lately. I'm going to have to work through the weekend just to catch up on everything. You know how it is. Maybe in a few weeks when things calm down?" I stared at that text message for a long time. My sister was literally on vacation, posting photos of herself on the beach, while texting me about how busy she was with work. The audacity was breathtaking. At that point, I knew for certain that my entire family had betrayed me. They had planned this behind my back, lied to my face, and were continuing to lie to me while they were actually on the trip. They had replaced me with Julia's boyfriend of 1 month, a complete stranger, and they were having the time of their lives. I decided not to confront them while they were still on the trip. Instead, I chose to wait. I wanted to see them face to face when they came home. I knew exactly when they were supposed to return because these were originally my vacation dates too. So on Tuesday afternoon, I drove to my parents' house. I still had my own key from when I lived there during college. I let myself in quietly and made myself comfortable. I brewed coffee and sat down on the living room couch to wait. I wanted them to walk in and find me there. About an hour later, I heard car doors slamming in the driveway, followed by voices and laughter. They sounded so happy, so carefree. It made my stomach turn. The front door opened, and I heard my dad's voice, "God, I'm exhausted." That was such a long flight. But it was so worth it, my mom replied, "What an amazing week." Then I heard Julia laughing and a male voice I didn't recognize, the boyfriend. They came through the entryway, dragging their suitcases behind them. They were all tan and relaxed, looking like they had just stepped out of a vacation brochure. Julia was wearing a new sundress. Then they turned the corner into the living room and saw me sitting there on the couch with my coffee cup. The change in their expressions was instant and dramatic. My dad literally dropped his suitcase handle. My mom's mouth fell open. Julia went completely pale. And the boyfriend, a tall, dark-haired guy who looked confused as hell, just stood there looking back and forth between everyone. For what felt like forever, nobody said anything. I just sat there, calmly sipping my coffee, watching them squirm. Finally, I decided to break the ice. "Well, Mom, I had no idea that when someone is seriously ill, they develop such a beautiful tan. Must be some really interesting side effects from those medications." My mom's face went bright red, but she didn't respond. I turned to Julia, and Julia, I never knew that when someone has a major work crisis, the first thing they do is go shopping for new vacation clothes. That's a unique approach to stress management. The boyfriend was looking around with this completely bewildered expression. He clearly had no idea what was happening. My mom finally found her voice. Karen, sweetie, this isn't what it looks like. We can explain everything. Oh really? I pulled out my phone and opened Julia's Instagram page. Because I'm looking at all these lovely vacation photos Julia posted, and they sure look like the exact resort we were supposed to go to. I held up my phone so they could all see the screen. Here's a nice family photo by the pool. And here's another one at dinner. My dad finally stepped forward. Karen, you need to calm down. You're overreacting to this whole situation. Overreacting? I stood up from the couch. Dad, you lied to me. All of you lied to me. You made up fake health problems and work emergencies, and then you went on our family vacation with some guy Julia has been dating for 1 month. I pointed at the boyfriend. You replaced me with a complete stranger. You used my money to pay for him to join you. My mom started crying. Karen, please let us explain. We didn't mean for it to happen like this. How exactly did you mean for it to happen, Mom? We just wanted to help Julia, she said through her tears. She really likes this guy, and we thought it would be good for her relationship if we all got to know him better. I looked at Julia. You've been dating him for 4 weeks, and you thought it was appropriate to bring him on our family vacation instead of your own sister? Julia finally spoke up. It's not like that, Karen. We're serious about each other. We might even get married soon. I actually laughed out loud. Married? You've known him for a month. I looked at the boyfriend, who had gone completely white at the word married. Hey, I said to him directly, what's your name anyway? Mike, he said quietly. Well, Mike, did you know you might be getting married soon? Because apparently that's news Julia has been sharing with my family. Mike looked at Julia with complete shock. Julia, what is she talking about? Before Julia could answer, I continued. And Mike, did you know that the money that paid for your portion of this trip came from me? Because I contributed $2,000 to this family vacation, and when they decided to exclude me, they just used my money to cover your expenses instead. Mike looked horrified. I had no idea. Julia told me her parents were paying for everything. Well, now you know, I said. Then I turned back to my family. You know what the worst part is? It's not even the money. It's the fact that you looked me in the eye and lied to me. You made up elaborate stories about health problems and work emergencies. My dad tried to interrupt. Karen, you're being dramatic about this. It's not that big of a deal. Not that big of a deal. I was getting angrier now. Dad, I worked 7 days a week for 6 months to prepare for this trip. I rearranged my entire schedule, pushed back important projects, and sacrificed my weekends. Also, I could go on vacation with my family. And you just casually decided I was disposable. I looked around at all of them. You know what? I finally understand where I stand in this family. I'm the extra person. The one you can just replace with whoever Julia is dating that month. Julia started crying now too. Karen, that's not true. We love you. Really? Because you have a funny way of showing it. I walked toward the door, but then I turned back one more time. By the way, Mom, I'm still waiting for that refund of my $2,000 that you promised me. For the next week, my phone was completely silent. Nobody called me, and I didn't call them either. I went back to work after my vacation, and when people asked how my time off was, I just said it was fine. But then, exactly 1 week later, my mom called. Karen, honey, how long are you going to stay mad about this? She asked, like I was a child throwing a tantrum. You can't seriously be upset about something so silly. Silly, I couldn't believe what I was hearing. Mom, you think lying to me and excluding me from our family vacation is silly? We didn't exclude you, sweetie. We just thought it would be better if Julia could bring Mike along. You know how important relationships are at her age. At her age? Mom, Julia is 31, not 16. And I'm 28, so it's not like I'm some old spinster. My mom sighed. Karen, you're being way too sensitive about this. Your father and I think you should stop being so stubborn and just come home for dinner this weekend. And why would I do that? Because we're family, and family forgives each other. you're right, Mom, family should forgive each other. But first, family should actually apologize for what they did wrong. And second, I'm still waiting for my $2,000. There was a long pause. Fine, my mom said finally. I'll send you the money right now. But I expect you to come to dinner on Saturday. Send the money first, then we'll talk. About 10 minutes later, I got a notification that $2,000 had been deposited into my account. My mom called back immediately. There, Karen, I sent your money. Now are you happy? Can we put this whole thing behind us? I looked at my bank account on my phone, confirming that the money was really there. Thanks for the refund, Mom. The money was the only thing I needed from you. I don't want to work anything out. I don't want to come to dinner. I don't want to pretend like nothing happened. I hung up and turned off my phone. After that, the calls and text messages started coming nonstop. My parents called multiple times a day. Julia sent me long text messages saying that I was misunderstanding everything. My dad texted that they were worried about me. But I ignored all of it. I didn't respond to a single message or phone call. On Saturday morning, I decided I needed to get away from everything. I packed a small bag and drove to my friend Sarah's house in the neighboring state. She lived near a beautiful lake, and I thought it would be peaceful to spend a couple of days there. I didn't tell anyone where I was going, I just left. Apparently, this really freaked out my family. Sarah showed me her phone on Saturday evening. My mom had somehow found her number and was calling her, asking if she knew where I was. Your mom called me like 6 times today, Sarah said. She sounds really panicked. Good, I replied, now she knows how it feels to be worried about someone you care about. I stayed at Sarah's house for 3 days, completely off the grid. When I finally came home on Tuesday afternoon, I had dozens of missed calls and text messages. About an hour after I got home, my doorbell rang. I looked through the peephole and saw my parents standing there. I opened the door, and my mom immediately started yelling at me, Karen. Where the hell have you been? We've been worried sick about you. Really? I said calmly, you were worried about me? That's interesting, because a few weeks ago you didn't seem to care about me at all. My dad stepped forward, Karen, we called everyone we could think of. We were about to call the police. Well, now you know exactly how I felt when you disappeared on that vacation without telling me the truth. My mom started crying again, Karen, please, we're so sorry. We didn't think you would react like this. We just wanted to help Julia with her relationship. And how did that work out for you, Mom? Did you help Julia's relationship? My mom hesitated, and I could see on her face that something had gone wrong. What happened? I asked. My dad answered, after you left that day, Mike told Julia that he wasn't ready for a serious relationship. He said Julia had been putting too much pressure on him, talking about marriage after only dating for a month. He stopped contacting her completely. I almost laughed, but I could see that my mom was genuinely upset. So let me get this straight. You betrayed your own daughter to help Julia impress some guy, and the guy ended up dumping her anyway? We made a mistake, Karen, my dad said. We thought you were strong enough to handle this, and we thought Julia needed our help more. But we were wrong. You were wrong about a lot of things, Dad. But mostly you were wrong to think that I would just accept being treated like I don't matter. My mom wiped her eyes, we never thought you didn't matter, honey. We love you so much. If you loved me, you wouldn't have lied to me. You wouldn't have excluded me. And you definitely wouldn't have used my own money to pay for my replacement. What can we do to fix this? My dad asked. I looked at both of them for a long moment. I don't know if you can fix this, Dad. Right now, I need time to think about whether I can trust you again. Maybe someday we can have a relationship again, but not right now. How long do you need? My mom asked. I don't know, maybe a few months, maybe longer. I'll let you know when I'm ready to talk. That was 2 months ago. Since then, my parents text me regularly asking how I'm doing. Last week, Julia sent me a huge bouquet of flowers and a cake with a note saying she was sorry and that she was entirely to blame for what happened. She's also been sending me messages asking for forgiveness, and she even changed her social media status to say, "I won't trade my sister for any guy." I can see that they're all trying to make an effort now. They're treating me better than they have in years, probably because they finally realize that they can't just take me for granted. But I'm still not ready to forgive them completely. The truth is, I'm not sure if I'll ever be able to trust them the way I did before. They showed me that when it came down to choosing between me and some random guy Julia was dating, they chose the random guy. And that's not something I can just forget. But maybe, eventually, we can rebuild our relationship. Just not yet. First, I need to be absolutely sure that they understand what they did wrong and that they'll never do anything like this to me again.